Hi, I'm Veronica, a somatic yoga teacher and a Thai massage therapist. And today I wanted to show you what you could do instead of a classic shavasana pose. So the classic relaxation is done on your back with your legs flat on the mat. However, that position for most of the people is not comfortable. It's not really a relaxing pose. It's going to pull on the lower back, or maybe it's going to increase the anxiety sometimes. So I will show you some other options where you can truly rest, and I really encourage you to choose your own relaxation pose, even if the teacher gives you only one option. So the first and the easiest way you could do, just to make it your shavasana, your relaxation pose in the lying on the back more comfortable, would be to take a blanket. And that might already give you a lot of difference. So let's say when you lie down flat, you might start feeling that there is an arch, there's a big arch in your lower back that doesn't really feel comfortable, that there is maybe some pulling in the front of the pelvis or around the groin, or maybe you even feel some discomfort or pressure around the sacrum. So in any case, if you feel any of that, I suggest you place the folded blanket underneath your thighs. And mind you, thighs, not the knees. You often hear to place a bolster underneath the knees. It is far more releasing to give the weight of your thighs into the block or maybe cushions. And that might be all that you needed. That might be enough to start feeling comfortable. By the way, in terms of the arms, they don't necessarily need to be by your sides. If it's more restful for you to have the hands on your belly, or maybe one on the belly and one on the chest, that's perfectly fine as well. And sometimes you might not enjoy that sensation of being too exposed, and you might not even know exactly why. That's fine too. You can cover yourself with a blanket, or you could place something heavy or semi-heavy over your chest or over your belly, and that might give you that extra sensation of grounding. Now, if this is still not comfortable, you can try the constructive rest. And that is when you have your knees bent and feet on the mat. Now, with this one, it's also important that you find a position where you're not tensing up your leg muscles, because in fact, you don't need to tense them. You can use the construction of your bones and allow the lower leg bones prop against the thigh bone. That creates this kind of tent, and then you don't really need to create any tension, any activation, neither in the legs, nor in the groin, nor in the belly, or in the buttocks. It can all stay relaxed. You can trust the construction of your bones to stay here. Obviously, it is not going to work if you have your feet too far away. If they're somewhere really far away, you might start feeling that your back is arching a lot, and indeed, you need to put a lot of effort to keep the legs there, otherwise they would just slide away like this. Also, if you're putting the legs really close towards you, you start that have that feeling that everything is kind of compressed. It creates more tension around the groin. Your lower back might be pressed into the ground. So you want to find a place where you have all those natural curves in the spine, and which feels stable. Don't worry about where your feet are. They could be easily more out. They can be turned in or out. It doesn't matter. So long as it's stable, it's all fine. You might have come across the version when you let your knees drop in towards one another, and that's supposed to be more restful. Well, it creates some specific sensations around the back of the sacrum for sure, but it also puts you into that internal rotation. It's not so neutral anymore. So maybe if that works for you, it's okay, but I would say that the more neutral position would be the one when you're trusting the gravity and the construction of your bones. And just like before, you could choose to have the hands over your body or have something extra on top of you as well. Cover yourself with a blanket. And one more note is about the head. So it might happen that you have that when you lie down on the back, your chin is pointed towards the ceiling. And if after trying to find some length, you still feel the same, it's better if you use something really thin. So that's important. It's not high underneath the back of the head, not underneath the neck. So the neck is free in the air and it's just underneath the back of the head. Only so that you find that length in the neck. So you don't want it to be so high that your chin is to the chest and that your neck is at an angle. Yeah, you don't want that. You can make it lower so that the neck is long, or you might not need it at all. So if you don't have that chin up to the ceiling, then you don't really need the support underneath the back of the head. All right. And those are the positions when you're lying on the back, but it might be that it still feels too exposed, or it might feel uncomfortable for your back for whatever reason. Or maybe you stayed lying down for most of the class on the back and you want to change it. So the other option will be to lie on the front. And if you're lying on the front, sometimes it's nice to have something soft across your pelvis, like a blanket, but again, not too high, because then it becomes already a kind of forward fold, something rather low. And your legs might feel like rolling out, or it might feel like rolling in. It depends on how you're built. It doesn't matter. You might feel better with the forehead on your hands, or it might feel way better if you have your head turned in one direction. But careful with this one. If you're spending a long time with head turned in one direction, it would be nice, at least for a moment, to turn it other way too. Right? With this pose, also you might sometimes feel it's not comfortable for the front of the ankles. And that's when you can use a folded blanket right at the front of the ankles, somewhere here. And then that might make a heaven difference. Sometimes it feels just more safe and cozy as you're closer to the ground and you feel that all your vital organs are protected. And finally, you could go for a side shavasana. So then you definitely want to have something under the head, just so that the spine, the neck is the extension of the spine, so that the neck stays long. So you will see how high it would need to be. It depends on how big are your shoulders. So you want to get that nice support so that the neck can stay long. And then you can bend the knees. And again, if you keep them like this, that already kind of places your pelvis and your leg in a particular position. And sometimes it's just, too much for your knees. So it usually feels nicer if you have a pillow in between of your knees. And then the feet can rest one on top of the other. It could be a longer pillow as well, of course. That would cover your whole lower legs, so that's another option. And here as well, it might be quite nice idea to cover yourself with a blanket or keep something heavy on top of your hip for more grounding, for extra grounding. That arm can be stretched out in front of you. And that's where you can comfortably rest as another option. So as you can see, there are many ways that you can rest as a final relaxation. It doesn't need to be that lying down flat on the back pose. And if somebody tells you that this is the only way to relax, that's simply not true. I hope that you found this video useful, and you can check lots of other videos covering the somatic yoga in this channel. And I encourage you to sign up and subscribe to my channel. I share one video every Monday morning. Thank you very much.